Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to Dear Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Darling, nurse and energy facilitator, here to help you come home to yourself, one soul conversation at a time. This space is for the ones walking between worlds, the healers, the fillers, the women rediscovering their light after burnout or breakdowns. Together, we talk spirituality that's real, healing that is honest, and soul growth that meets you right where you are. So take a breath, pour yourself up some tea, and let's drop in because your spirit's been waiting for this conversation. What is up, and welcome back to Dear Spirit Podcast. I hope everyone listening is doing exceptionally well. A couple days ago, we had a new moon, and this new moon energy was all about building new foundations and restructuring our values. So, over the last week, I really have been enjoying sitting back and being the observer. I've been a witness to moments of reawakening and also feeling super inspired to free myself of patterns of thinking and beliefs that would normally hold me back. I had a crippling fear of being seen. And it's crazy how, with the 30-day reset, um, paying attention and being more mindful of what it is I put in my body, taking moments to ground myself and really showing up for myself and treating myself like my own best friend has really shifted something in me along with the energy of the new moon. So it's really amazing to just see all those changes in such a little amount of time. So, anywho, let before we even hop into the episode for today, I just want to share with you guys what is new in my world. So, first things first, if you guys don't know, a couple months ago, I did start a book club. It is called Soul Ascend. And I pretty much started this book club after I closed down my wellness studio. I had this period where I just honestly needed some silence. And I did that for about a year. And then I was wanting and craving to get back into a spiritual space, but I didn't just want to go full force. So for me, the most logical thing to do was to start a book club, something very quiet and I can do at a slow pace. So I started a book club where we read all sorts of spiritual books, universal truths, Gnostic wisdom, ancient texts, like all of that good stuff. Over there, it's a very, I would say, slow pace, low maintenance type of book club because it's intended for busy people who also still want to explore spirituality. So if you are interested in that, then I will put a link below in the show notes for you to check it out. And the book club is totally free. All we're looking for is good vibes and an open mind. And what else is new with me? Oh, me and one of my friends, Sacred Ash, on Instagram, we are holding like some medium practiceship circles if you're interested in that. And also, I have a lot of events or markets in person for energy work. If you're interested in that in the city of Milwaukee, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook for more information. My Instagram is I am Sabrina Darling. And I think that pretty much all I got going on for right now. Oh, I also am offering free sessions. Right now it's either a shamanic session or I am offering a new paradigm multi-dimensional transformation session. That's a lot to say. But I am offering those for free because I am going to step back into energy work. So if you are feeling emotionally heavy and you need some guidance, I would love to assist you. So I will also put a link for that below. And I am just going to ask you guys, if you enjoy listening to the show, I would really appreciate it if you would follow the podcast, share it out to people you know who may be interested, and also like the podcast. I would really appreciate it, and it would help us grow and reach more people out there who may need guidance or want to build connection. So before we hop into the story, I just want to give a little context for those of you who may be listening to the podcast for the first time. This episode is pretty much a continuation of how I got started on my spiritual journey and also deciding to work in spiritual spaces. So I know this podcast is about soul medicine for modern mystics and mothers. And we will dive into like some really incredible conversations on this podcast. But I felt like coming back to the podcast after a 2-year hiatus, it was really important for me to remember my story and also share it with you guys so you can get to know me on a deeper level. And also, those of you who are out there who are having experiences and just starting on your journey to be able to feel not so alone and also seen. I think I shared with you guys during the workshop, I would lay on the table and then there would be two other individuals facilitating hands on healing. And every so often, there would be a third pair of hands that would come and touch certain parts of my body. One of those parts being the middle of my forehead. And I automatically assumed that this being was clearing out and also opening up my third eye chakra. So after the workshop, I had really sore, achy palms. So I took an Epsom salt bath, and actually, over the next several days, I had vivid dreams. I was super sensitive to other people's energy, and my intuition was just so on point. Now, these are just symptoms of spiritual awakenings, and they vary from person to person. So, you may experience many, many more symptoms than what I experienced. But anywho, so after class, the first night I went to sleep, I can't believe I'm about to tell you guys this. I remember going to bed with my significant other, and as I'm sleeping, I can see and feel everything that is going on. So my body's laying in the bed, but my spirit is standing on the side of the bed. And I am doing energy work to my significant other's back. I remember a whole bunch of symbols coming through. And at the same time, I remember a conversation my instructor had told the class, and it was about free will. No matter how much you believed someone needed your assistance or needed you to facilitate healing for them, if they didn't want it, you don't do it. You don't go against anyone's free will. And at that moment, I remember that and I immediately stopped because I didn't want to invade on his free will. So I remember in the morning him waking up and stretching. And he was like, "Oh, my back, it feels so good." And I was like, "Oh, by the way," when we were sleeping, I was doing energy work on your back, but I stopped because I didn't want to go against your free will. And he gave me the okay and just said, "No, anytime you want to do energy work on me, it's okay. You can do it." So I thought that was pretty sweet. But what I did not tell him until days later. So, this part of the episode I did have to re record because as I began to talk about my experience,
all of those feelings started to resurface. I'm talking about intense fear and just complete hopelessness. There was so much that I wanted to say that I didn't say. I could feel during the recording me become very sad. I totally switched from my normal, bubbly, happy self to just extreme sadness. And that recording affected me so much that it was midday when I recorded that episode, and I had to get up and turn the lights on in the house. Like, what am I doing? What am I afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of. So I definitely wanted to record this part of the episode. I actually had the pleasure of speaking to one of my closest friends, and she suggested that I call back my power, which I know to do, but it's always good to hear from someone who cares about you deeply. So, of course, later that night, I did call back my power, and I feel great. And I have told some of my friends about this experience, but I don't feel like I actually sat in those deep emotions since that experience. And whenever I do tell this story, I am not extremely emotional. So, okay, so let's get back to the experience. So, my son normally every night he wakes up, he gets in me and his dad's bed, and he's sandwiched in between us. So the only time we know he's in our bed is if randomly in the middle of the night we'll get a elbow to the face, a knee to the back, something like that, or when we wake up, we see him in our bed. So this was all in the same night as I was working on my significant other's back. So that was prior. So later that night, again, I'm laying in the bed and my spirit is standing on the side of the bed. And right across from me is 3 to 4 aliens. Now they looked very like the Hollywood description, right? They had big heads, big eyes, little mouth, little body. And I remember looking at them and they're looking back at me. And I glance over quickly at my son, who is in the bed now sleeping with his dad. They're knocked out cold. So even if I wanted to scream, they probably wouldn't have heard me. So I glanced quickly at them. I glanced back at the aliens, and then it was like immediately they started to emit some sort of frequency. They never spoke. They emitted some sort of frequency, and it felt like it was coming from their third eye telepathically. So they're emitting this frequency, and it was paralyzing. To be honest, I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I just remember thinking like, I, I'm there's absolutely nothing I can do, and just this overwhelmingly sense of fear I felt. And there was nothing that I could do in that moment. Well, that's what I told myself. There was nothing I can do in this moment. And I was scared because I thought maybe they were going to abduct me or something like that. But what they actually ended up doing was removing something from me. It wasn't physical, it felt very spiritual. They removed something from me as they emitted this paralyzing frequency of fear. That's what I'm going to call it. And once they were done, they left. So after that, I have no recollection of what happened, but I do remember them leaving. And once I woke up in the morning, I was so fucking scared because I remember the experience. I sat down and I prayed. And after prayer, I grabbed my manual and I'm flicking through my manual trying to see is there anything I can do about what I just experienced. It was all dead ends. And I remember sitting to myself and like, what am I going to do if they come back? That I was so worried about that. What if they want to do something else next time they come back, and I have no way to fight them off. I don't know what to say. Like, I was worried about who do I tell? I don't want to tell anybody and they think I'm crazy. I know what I experienced. There is a difference from having a dream, having a dream that may seem real and it's not, and really experiencing what the hell you experienced. And that was what that was. So I just remember sitting with that for a couple of days and just being so worried. A couple of days later, my teacher ended up reaching out to me, the one who hosted the New Paradigm workshop. And she just asked, how was my integration going through text? And I know I felt comfortable enough to tell her what I experienced because this was a lady who was so loving, so helpful. She would talk to the class about, her doing water, dragging, healing sessions on herself to move energy and like all of this mystical stuff. So I knew if I was going to tell anybody, it definitely was going to be her because I knew it was going to be all love. And I know she wouldn't write me off as crazy. So I told her about my experience and she messaged me back and she sent me a picture of the aliens and she also sent a description with it. Now, when I talked to her about my experience, I never told her how they looked. So it's just so crazy when she sent that text through, that was the aliens I saw, and they are known as the Greys. So I'm someone who, I don't know if I said it or not, I don't believe in aliens. Well, I didn't before that experience. My significant other, like he's into that kind of stuff. Like he watches Ancient Aliens and stuff like that. When he puts that on, I go in the other room and find something to do or scroll on my phone because it just never piqued my interest. And I just did not believe that existed. So when she sent that picture over about the Greys, I was shocked. And she talked in the description, it talked about the Greys. They have like digestive issues and they are obsessed with us. They are obsessed with the human race, okay? They believe in, well, they like to harvest DNA and they also have a lot of reproductive issues. So when she sent that over, that kind of solidified my experience because in the workshop we did the 12 chakra and 12 stranded DNA meditation and activation. So that pretty much opens you up to expanding. It not only expands your energetic centers in the body, but it also reactivates dormant DNA strands. It really awakens and expands you to higher consciousness. And that would include telepathic communication. So I found that very interesting. And you also develop like this deep connection with the universe. So it all made sense to me. So after that experience, I did end up telling my significant other days later. And the crazy thing is, I still ended up continuing on my spiritual journey. That was one experience that could have broke me, but I didn't let it break me. There's another experience too that could have broke me, but I continued on with my journey because I felt like that experience was that red pill, blue pill moment from the Matrix. Like once you know and see what you see, there's no way you can go back. So I continued on with my journey. And in the next episode, I will tell you guys what I learned um, about boundaries, energetic boundaries, because I did these workshops without knowing anything about that. So definitely I'll tell you guys about energetic boundaries. And also I learned what to do from another being just in case I was to encounter this experience again and it actually works. So I will see you guys next week. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another Heart to Heart on Dear Spirit podcast. If this episode spoke to you,
Share it with a soul sister who might need to hear it too. And remember, you're not behind, you're becoming. Every breath, every boundary, every moment of stillness is part of your return to self. I'll talk to you soon, beautiful soul. Until then, stay grounded, stay open, and always dear to your spirit.